So welcome everybody to the Arduino Day 2018. Thank you for being, now there's a few people here in Milan, but there's a lot of people that are connecting online. I'm here with Fabio Violante.
Hello, everyone.
And then David Quartielles.
Hey, hello.
Who started this Arduino thing with me many years ago.
Yeah, it was a great party in Milan that night.
Yes. Well, that's a party that's been going on for many years now. And now today is going to be an interesting day. So there are over 500 events across the world in over 90 countries. It's crazy. It's literally crazy. I've seen like events in every imaginable place in the world, and we are very humbled and very happy about this. And so today is going to be divided in, we're going to have a few panels about different topics that have to do with the Arduino community and the maker movement and some of the more sort of developments like IoT, for example. And the idea is to try also to have some guests that will be introduced during the event. And so we're going to be talking about IoT, the actual development of Arduino, education, and then makers, which is the last panel which I'm running. And then there's going to be some closing remarks, and hopefully it's going to be very interesting. We have some fantastic guests, both here and they will be connecting in streaming. And David, you're running the education panel. Are you excited?
I mean, it's going to be crazy. It's actually two people that are going to be connected. I'm really excited about having Stefania actually in the panel today. Not that I don't like Mimo, and don't get me wrong, but also Mimo will be with one of his students and will be showing us something live on stage today.
All right, cool.
Wow.
So I guess throughout the day we will try to get questions from the audience that's connected through the streaming. So hopefully there's going to be some interesting questions. Are you ready?
Oh, absolutely. We are very excited to have all of you today, and I think you should allow us for some problems in case. Just don't complain too much because it's a very strict agenda. We have a ton of complexity, but we try to do our best, and I would like to thank also the Arduino team that pulled this together. Yeah. So it's been very complicated, but we are very excited to start.
Yeah, also we have to, we also want to thank Vodafone for hosting us and helping us with this beautiful place that also has some amazing technical facilities and very good bandwidth. I mean, they're Vodafone. If they don't have good bandwidth, so all the good ingredients for a good streaming thing. So we're gonna kick off with a with a presentation. We will be handing out coffees for people to stay awake during the presentation. No, joking. So we have the youngest member of the Arduino community, Nemo, who is 1 month old in that corner. So we should congratulate him and the parents. Hello, parents. And so we're gonna kick off with a presentation, and then after that, we're going to start with the panel. So David, you will join us in the education panel.
Yeah, I will excuse myself while you guys talk. Look at me as I moonwalk out of the stage.
Do the moonwalking. Do the moonwalking. All right. So we just wanted to give like a short introduction to a little bit what's going on in Arduino. I have this talk that I used to do at Maker Faire called The State of Arduino, which sounds very presidential, although it's more like, telling a little bit what's going on with Arduino and a little bit about the things that we do with the community. So to start off with this part, as I said, 527 events, which is 28 events more than last year, which is great, and 94 countries. That's a lot of countries, so it's very exciting for us to see that the Arduino community is expanding so much across the world, and I'm very, very happy and grateful for that. When with David we started, messing around in the basement, there was no expectation that it would be used by more than 200 people. There was basically the people in Ivrea and the people in Malmö. That was about it. And now it's this big. There are no words to describe what happened. But also another of the founders of Arduino is sending a short video because he's in New York, and it's nearby the finals for ITP, the university where he teaches. So he couldn't be with us, but he sent a video. Let's see.
Hey everybody, and happy Arduino Day. I hope you're working on some really great projects this year. I've been working on a few myself, mostly using some of the MKR series boards. You can see behind me an hourglass there that's running a Maker 0 to tell me the time in minutes and in seconds. And you can see a moving spotlight back here that I've been controlling with this Maker 1000 board so that I can slowly pan and tilt it and fade it up and down and things like that. It's been a pretty exciting year overall, working with some of these, and I hope you've had a good time too. And I hope you have a great Arduino Day. Thanks for checking in with us, and keep making great stuff.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. If you're watching, thank you. He's probably in a bar in Brooklyn right now, which is not bad. But, so we want to talk about a little bit also about the evolution of Arduino. So it started off as an educational tool, and then it basically kind of met with the maker movement and became the tool of choice of the maker movement. And then people started to actually use it in real scenarios, even in companies, in industries. And it became a tool that it's really everywhere in the world of IoT. If you look at any piece of IoT software, they always provide at least one Arduino library. Check it out. Any IoT software always have at least an example that says how to use it with Arduino. So clearly that indicates that it is an important point of reference for anybody doing IoT. And so, our general idea is that we want to enable anyone to innovate, and we do this by making complex technologies simple to use. So when we started working on this kind of topics, programming microcontrollers was very complicated for beginners. Now with a bunch of the tools that we make and people from the Arduino community make, it has become very much simpler, and actually it has become something that you don't need to be an engineer with a lot of experience to do. And so I think this small mission, the phrase is short, but the mission is large. So the idea that there's a ton of technologies that we want to simplify, and then when Fabio sort of will start talking, he will describe some of the things that we are doing there. But there's a lot of things that are complex that we can make simpler to use and people can take advantage of. So right now, we are seeing more than 26 million people using the Arduino website. We have more than 500,000 people registered on the forum. And every year, more than 12 million downloads of the IDE are happening, which is mind-blowing. And also in terms of follower on different social channels, you can see the numbers. We're approaching 1 million followers on Facebook. And so there's a lot of engagement on the different social channels. There's a lot of people that come to Arduino. There will be some other stats about some of the other tools that we use. It's really, for me, surprising about the number of people that keeps growing. It keeps growing. It's been growing for the past now 13 years, which is, impressive for me to see. Also, Stack Overflow last year did a developer survey of what are the platforms that people use. And obviously, Windows Desktop has to be the most popular development platform, but to be there right after Microsoft Azure and as one of the most popular development platforms in the world, it is actually quite impressive and humbling. And it means that effectively Arduino is that people use to solve real-life problems, and it started to become really a tool for people to build and invent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think on that point, Massimo, I think the key stuff is now Arduino is a competency that we keep seeing on the resume of people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true, actually. One of the things that's happening right now, a lot of people are telling us that when they get a CV, Arduino starts to pop up everywhere. So if somebody is involved in technology or design, they have to have an Arduino, on their resume. So I guess the three big areas that we are basically following and working on is education, where David leads the research in that area. The maker area, which is the classic, the Arduino Uno, the IDE, and all the other tools. And also this area for IoT/Pro. We call it Pro because a lot of Pro users are starting to use Arduino more and more to actually build solutions. And Fabio is going to talk more about that in a minute. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the makers, which is our classic sort of where we, in a way, started. So we have a beta of the Arduino IDE 1.9. Later on in the year, we'll release 2.0. There's a lot of work that we still have to do, but we started to add more features that make it simpler for people to work. So we have auto-completion, so when you type your code, you press a button, it completes automatically. The IDE can recognize what boards you have plugged in and selects them automatically. You can change themes. We had a number of requests from people, also from an accessibility point of view. Some people, because of also issues with their eyesight, they need the screen to be black, they need high contrast, they need specific colors in order to, so if somebody is colorblind, they might have a problem seeing some of the colors on the screen. So we have a request, we work on that. There's a lot of optimization and fixes going on at the sort of behind the scenes in the IDE. But I guess the general message is that the Java IDE is still the cornerstone of how people do development in Arduino, and we continue to add features, and we are going to be doing like a big user experience review in the next few months, so that when we release at the end of the year, it's going to be a much more usable and advanced tool. And so at Maker Faire Bay Area, in about 1 week, exactly 1 week from now, California time, we're going to be announcing a couple of products that we think are very important for makers. We could have announced them today, but we thought, why announce everything today? And then the people who come to the Maker Faire, they're going to complain that, So now we have 2 of them. We kept them for Maker Fairs, so that you have 1 week of wondering how, what are these 2 products that are so amazing. So, so keep tuned. But in a way, it's just to say that, makers are still the core. And if we expand and work in a lot of different fields, we still, work a lot and build tools for makers, because then the people who call themselves pros, sometimes they start as makers. Or a lot of the teachers who work with us, they are makers who start teaching. So a short discussion about what we are doing in education. And we'll start off with a quick video. So this is another project that David worked on. And so this CTC program is the program that David and his team designed for high schools, and it's been already deployed to several thousand students in Spain. And usually when they do these programs, at the end of the program, they gather all the students and the teacher in a place, and they have almost like a Maker Faire, let's call it like that, where the kids bring their projects, and you can see some of the projects are amazing. So there's going to be a little bit more discussion about this later in the education panel. We actually have a special guest who is the first teacher who ever, which we're very honored to have. So as I mentioned before, 17,000 students took this program. It was delivered now in 735 schools, and it generated 1,700 projects. It was done in Spain, Latin America. It started to happen also in Italy and other countries.
And I think, Massimo, the important thing is when Massimo was talking about the area where we are focusing, so makers, IoT, and education, the focus is real and the investment area is real. So we dedicated an entire office in Sweden to this activity. So this program is now available almost worldwide, and we are very excited because a lot of countries are picking up and are launching their initiatives with this program.
Yeah, totally. Because there's in the world there's a ton of teachers who basically invented teaching programs using Arduino. So with this, we're basically trying to help out all the ones that cannot or don't want to create their own programs. We provide them all the knowledge and the tools and they need. So for the education, we have different bundles for different products. We have kits. And we have these solutions for the classroom. Also, one thing that we do, which is quite useful, we also have this development environment called Arduino Create. We also deliver as a Chromebook application. And again, all the different, it's very useful for the education market in the US, because in the US, they use Chromebooks, and it's difficult to connect Arduinos to Chromebooks unless you have this application. So it's already being picked up very quickly by a ton of schools in the US. We are also launching finally this new Arduino engineering kit with MathWorks. It's very exciting. It essentially it's a tool where there are different machines, let's call them, that you can build and connect with MATLAB, where you can actually run algorithms in MATLAB. And you can build different things like a self-balancing motorbike that you can see there, or you can also build a forklift and a beautiful plotter that can draw on a wall. So I think it's very interesting because a lot of students use MATLAB in their university career. A lot of them connect to Arduino in order to do things with the physical world. So this kit is going to introduce, and also this kit includes a license to MATLAB so that people can start using it right away. So for the discussion about IoT, I want to leave it to Fabio.
Thank you, Massimo.
And I can
we are very, very excited about all the programs that you mentioned. And IoT is one of our key focus areas this year and for the next years. There was some study that we did on our customer base and user base, and basically we discovered that almost all the IoT prototypes include at some point an Arduino. So Massimo and I and the rest of the leadership team and Arduino started working on a specific program to support the IoT and professional market in a structured manner. The idea, as Massimo said at the very beginning, is to have this approach where we guide people from the learning phase to the development phase, and now also to the implementation phase, so that we can have a range of products that people can just embed into their design, and then even operate with all the initiatives that we are doing in the cloud space that I will be talking a little bit about, and Massimo will be talking more at the end of the presentation. So the first thing that we did was basically to try to understand what are the core capabilities of an IoT product. And we came up with this idea of creating what we call the MKR board concept. There are a few characteristics of this concept that are to us very important. On one side, computational element. So today we are using the ARM Cortex technology for this family of board, with a specific focus on also on power management. That is very important, especially for battery power devices and also for low power devices. And then there is also another part that for IoT application is becoming absolutely the most critical factor, that is security. So the approach that we took is basically to create a crypto, to include a crypto element in the design that will be the same for all the boards. We also standardized the form factor. And the idea is to keep those core elements that you see at the bottom of the picture standard for all the boards and change the type of connectivity. So this is not one single board, but it's a family of board. That is the family that you can see on this picture. One element that I think is crucial also for more industrial application is that all the boards are certified. So it's much easier to certify a product that uses those boards if the connectivity element and the entire board is pre-certified. So today we are very excited because we are in a place that is a telecommunication place, and we are announcing two products today: the MKR narrowband IoT, called 1500, and also the new MKR Wi-Fi 1010. So let me go a little bit deeper on those products, and let me start with the last one, so the MKR Wi-Fi. So you know that we have an MKR 1000 product that is absolutely perfect and working, but we were listening a lot to customer needs and also to the community. And one of the critical issues that we had for the MKR 1000 was the fact that we didn't have a possibility to basically write our own firmware for the Wi-Fi part. So we came up with this very elegant, and thank you Arturo and the team for making it also very elegant. As you can see, it's one of the most beautiful, at least for me, for my taste, it's one of the most beautiful designs that we have, where basically you see the micro and you see the Wi-Fi connectivity. The nice thing is that on the Wi-Fi side, we also have the ESP32 inside. So this board is also Bluetooth enabled, and basically you have a combination of SAMD21 Cortex M0 plus the ESP32. A very flexible product. We are looking forward to see all the contribution of the community to the software side. Moving forward, there is a tiny video that shows you this product working. Ci viene sopra. Right, so I need to be fast. So let's go to the next product. And for this product, I would like to call on stage Alessandro Canzian from Vodafone.
Thank you, Fabio. Yeah, the monitor, because more than 500 places are connected to here, and I'm really happy to have you all here, and everyone is connected to this place, which is the Vodafone Village, because our purpose is to connect people and things. And you are makers of things, so my call is connect them. Using narrowband IoT, of course. We are close to the completion of the coverage in Italy, and we covered 12 countries already. We will move to a complete coverage of the operating country where we operate, and please don't consider the bandwidth a limit to your idea. Go ahead and share your idea.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And Alessandro is responsible for marketing and sales at Vodafone for the commercial part.
Yeah, that doesn't cut too much.
Thank you. Grazie.
Yeah, so let's go quickly.
We launched this with Vodafone.
And basically we tested this product with Vodafone. So we were the first in the lab to test it, and we did extensive testing on their network. This is another application. example of applying this technology, the narrowband IoT technology, to a gardening application to very real application in smart agriculture. I think this is one of the areas where there is a lot of potential for this type of technology. Moving forward, we have a bunch of announcements also as far as the MKR ecosystem is concerned. So one of them is a connector carrier that enables people to do prototyping very easily, connecting groove sensors to the MKR family. But this is very important. We are in a manufacturing country, and we talked to a ton of customers, small, medium, large customers. What they said is basically, okay, I have a ton of equipment that has the serial interface, and we have a ton of equipment with the CAN interface, and we have a ton of equipment with Ethernet connectivity. So we went back to them with our engineers and basically created a pre-baked solution that can be used to create very simply complex use cases. So those shields for the Maker family are new and are announced today. And of course, we also are working on carrier boards, and one of the carrier boards beside the Groove carrier board that I showed before is a motor carrier that can be very important for all applications that have to control motors, and it's very sophisticated shield. I cannot go into the details, but I would like to talk about Panino. Massimo, what do you think about Panino? Because now it's time for
okay. No, this was a joke that we had. Actually, Fabio started calling it like that. But we realized that there is some interesting combination that in order to solve a lot of problems, you need some basic ingredients that you can combine very easily together. So that's how you make a sandwich. You know, you take a basic set of ingredients, you assemble them in multiple different ways, and you get some fantastic sandwiches. And in a way, what we're trying to do with this Maker family is to have a big family of carrier boards. Then you choose the board that you want depending on the connectivity. So you want to do narrowband IoT, no problem. You just drop the right board. And then you put shields on top, depending on the kind of sensors, on the kind of buses you want to interface. Then you combine everything in a nice box and an antenna, and then you have a solution that you can do right now. So the idea is to create a whole menu of different ingredients that you can assemble like this. We started calling it the Panino, or the panini, as the Americans call it, and we thought it was funny. So in a way, you know, I think it's a nice idea. Few ingredients combined in the right way produce tons of different solutions that really solve everyday problems.
And talking about solutions, so one of the major questions that we got from customers is how can I leverage Arduino technology not only for the prototyping phase but also in production? So the answer basically is a structured answer. So for the prototyping phase, we are all clear on how things. I think everything is prototyped with Arduino. So for smaller volume, we believe that the Panino concept could be the solution. So basically taking a la carte ingredient and bringing them together to create a solution. But we designed the MKR packaging in a way that it can be also solder mounted by machine. So the idea is that if someone has an idea that requires a custom PCB, they can design their own sensor carrier board or whatever board, and then have the MKR as a module that they can stitch on. The last point that is new, it is not yet released. We are working on it, and we think about releasing it in Q3 this year. Comes from a request from many companies when it comes to basically creating their entire custom design. And people in the enterprise world like to have proprietary design because sometimes they have a lot of intellectual property. So we are creating a path for people to use the design and have a clear licensing model for the design for their own projects. So we believe that the best way to understand what IoT can do for you is to do it. So if we have companies or you have our makers, just try to do experiments with this technology.
Build something.
So Massimo.
I'm going to quickly just talk for a couple of minutes about some of the work that we are doing in IoT software. There's going to be more announcement later on in the year. But the idea is that we're trying to build tools that make complex technology look like stairs. So we feel that a lot of people find sometimes technology is a wall, that it's very tall and very difficult to climb and they give up. If you build tools that allow people to learn one step at a time and to reach their goal one step at a time, this is what enables a lot of people to be successful. And we're trying to use this paradigm also to build the tools that we do. And we realize that things that are simple and understandable for beginners, they make professional very fast. So a lot of people that are professional use Arduino because they like it, it's fast, because it's simple to understand and you can quickly use it. So we are working on building a cloud, which will be largely open source, that allows all these different technologies to come together and talk to each other so that people can build application on top of it. And it's going to be all based on Arduino Create, and I'm sure in the next panel, Luca will talk a little about it. Arduino Create started off as an IDE. It's got, it's been very successful. The user base grows 7% every month. So we're now talking about a very, very large user base of people who use Create to develop application and deploy them on Arduino.
And by very large, we mean hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Users. So
and now, you can, for example, if you missed that announcement, you can even program Raspberry Pis with Arduino now. You can connect a Raspberry Pi to our Create Cloud. You can write a piece of Arduino code, press the button, and it becomes a Raspberry Pi application and gets remotely installed. So you can use also tools like Project Hub, where you find a lot of projects. And and also with Create, as I said, you can use Beagle boards, Raspberry Pis, and also Intel-based Linux machines. And we are also working a lot on box experience. So we see with the new products, we're going to build part of the website where you follow a bunch of instructions, and the website will upload code to the board and guide you to have a functioning product. So the Things Cloud is the next thing that's going to show up, and so we'll have more information later in the year about this. So a few important things about the community. We're trying to make some effort, and we will discuss more, to get more community involved in what we do. So obviously there's going to be a bunch of new product announcement at the Maker Faire in San Mateo next week, but we are going to we are organizing an online developer summit. So the people who develop for the Arduino platform, people who want to help develop the Arduino platform, will be able to register for this event, which is going to happen June 19 in the evening European time. So that's morning in the US. And we are also organizing an Arduino stakeholder meeting, so the people that are involved in the Arduino community and make it happen, from makers to individual enthusiasts to companies. We're coming together Thursday, October 11 in Rome, and we'll, for both events, next week, Monday, I will post forms where you can start registering for those events. And for the stakeholder meeting, we are allocating some budget so that we can fly some of the people who contribute to Arduino but don't have a company behind them. They can pay for their travel. We will, bring some of them over, to be able to take part in this. So thank you very much. This was the introduction. Thank you, Fabio.
Thank you.
We are going to leave room for the next panel. The next panel is about IoT. It will be led by the excellent, amazing Alexandra Deschamps-Sonsino, who was at Ivrea with us as a student. So she saw Arduino being born right there. And so I'm going to remove myself from the...
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.